Welcome to yet another wholesome video. I must say, when I was pulling the manga off the shelves, every time I was pulling another stack off, I was like, where did all this come from? I swear March was a quiet month. Where did these volumes come from? So yeah, this is a much bigger haul than I thought it would be. And this month I have no excuse. Most of them were bought really cheap. There's a lot of secondhand and bought at half price on Blackwell's kind of manga. But the base rule on any manga you see in one of my hauls is 99% of the time I did not pay retail for it. I paid way less, at least 30% off, if not 50. 50% off is my new goal. It's only when I shop in store that I'm 30% off is acceptable. If I'm buying online, I pretty much aim for 50% off. Just before we get into the haul, don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe, and check out my social medias and affiliate links down below. Let's get into it. As always with my hauls, I do them alphabetically because that's how I put them on my shelves and it makes it easier to pull them off and put them away again. So the first thing on the set that we have is 5 seconds before a witch falls in love. This is a one shot, a very, very thin one shot, so that already gets negative points. I picked it up because it had witch in the title and I am sucker for witch series. It is a girls' love series volume, though it's there's kind of 3 chapters in it, and 2 of the chapters are around one story, and one of the chapters is about another story, and the one-shot chapter sort of breaks up the 2. And it was quite a pleasant read. It was very sweet, it was very enjoyable, but it took me 15 minutes to read, and that's not worth it in my eyes. If I could have picked this up at half price, maybe, but I bought this in store. Yeah, it was a pleasant read. If you like sweet GL series, you will probably love it. My only qualm with it is it wasn't worth the price for how thin it was. Next up we have volume 1 of 07 Ghost. I've been wanting to pick this up for a while. I keep seeing it around, and then I saw it on Blackwell's for I think £4.50, and I was like, alright then, you've tempted me. Don't really know much about the series yet. I am starting to pick up other volumes randomly. It is a Viz Media series as well, so I do tend to gravitate more towards Viz series as a whole. The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, volume 1. This is weird. It is a trash harem romance, basically, and I really kind of enjoyed it. Basic premise is this guy has had the most unsuccessful luck with dating. He has been rejected 100 times, and he's like, great, maybe I'll just never be able to date a woman. And it turns out someone comes down, is it a god, comes down to tell him that there's been a mistake and they're going to make up for it, and he's going to have lots of soulmates, and if he rejects any of these soulmates that come along, they'll die. So he has to be with them all so they don't die, and they're all going to be madly in love with him. And that's entirely the premise. So far he's now up to I think 3 girlfriends. I would not say it's a good series, but I'm enjoying it because of that. After School Bitchcraft Volume 2. This is only a 3-volume series, and this was the volume I was missing. I now have all 3. I'm trying to read through a whole bunch of my shorter series at the moment. In fact, I have volume 1 of this in my TBR basket, and this is going to join it because I want to read them all really quickly. I think it's something to do with witches, and that is about the limit of my knowledge. I picked this one up second hand, so volume 1 and 3 were both picked up in store. Volume 3 is plastic wrapped, whereas volume 1 wasn't, and this second hand, so this one isn't. It's actually pretty decent. It's a little wobbly. It was really sad. I had a box of secondhand manga, really good secondhand manga. I was really pleased with the price on some of them, and I was going to save it to do a whole unboxing video with, but the day it arrived it was raining really bad and the box was really wet, and I was like, no, not the manga. I had to open it up, pull them out. Thankfully they were just a little bit damp, and drying them out with a fan heater hairdryer made it mostly fine. Some of them are a little wobbly, but that's not too bad. If I'd left them to do the unboxing, they'd have been Stinky. Ajin Demi-Human Volume 11. I got a whole bunch of Demi-Human a while back and then didn't read it, and then I got a bit more at Christmas, and I'm at a point where I think I'm only missing like 2 or 3 volumes before I'm series complete, so I'm holding off now until I can get those volumes, and then I'm gonna binge through the series in one go. I've read Volume 1 a while back and I really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to going through all of them. Next we have Arifureta Iha Isekai Volume 4. This is the spin-off from Arifureta. I don't have Volumes 1 and 2. I picked this one up off Blackwell's because it was like $4.99. Arpeggio of Blue Steel Volume 17. This one, I'm not sure if I've made a mistake. I picked it up because it was like $2.99 on Blackwell's, and I was like, okay. And it is actually a series I want to read, but my understanding is earlier volumes are quite hard and tricky to find, so I might have shot myself in the foot with this one, but it is one I do want to read. I think I just need to keep an eye out, see if I can pick them up, hopefully cheap. As cheap as $2.99 would be wonderful, but I think that was a fluke. Bad Boys Happy Home Volume 3. So this is the last volume in the series and I have read it. I picked this series up because a friend of mine had picked it up and was reading it, and I wanted to read series along with her because that's fun. And we kind of both read this around the same time, and I was enjoying the series up to like halfway through this one. There was like, the way it wrapped up was just weird. I felt I was going through a strange fever dream at one point. It's a particular chapter, I was like, Bakemonogatari Volume 10. So I'm trying to catch up to date with this series because I want to be up to date with this series. I think 11 or 12 is out now, so I'm only a couple of volumes off and then I'll be up to date and then I can read through it because I want to catch up and read a bunch in one go of this one too. Black Clover Volume 27, one of my up-to-date series. I absolutely love Black Clover. Every time I start reading, I'm like, how much do I like it? I don't really remember what's happening. And then I start reading it, I'm like, oh my god, this is hype. This is proper hype. This is so good. When's the next one out? What do you mean I have to wait? But actually, thankfully, I don't have to wait too long because 27 took so long to get over to the UK. I think 28 might already be out. There's a chance. I have a big stack of manga boxes to the side of me that I need to unbox, and I'm hoping 28 might be in there. I can't quite remember. Bloom Into You Volume 1. This was a second-hand volume, I think for about £5 something. I picked this up because a lot of people in the Manga Dudettes Discord server, linked down below if you haven't joined already, keep talking about how wonderful it is, and I'm like, alright, well I guess I need to check this out. So yeah, I'm expecting great things from this after how everyone's talked about it, and I'm gonna be so sad if it doesn't meet my expectations. Next we got a little stack finally. It's like there's lots of stacks and then I haven't done any yet. Next we have volumes 1, 2, 5, 7 and 8 of Boarding School Juliet. So one of the things I love most in romance, like one of my favourite things in romance, is conflict and drama, but like real drama, not like, oh, I'm worried he doesn't like me so I won't talk to him kind of drama, like wars and kidnapping sort of level of drama. And Boarding School Juliet is like, it's not quite as like dramatic, but there is quite a bit of drama. I have read volume 1. Volume 1 I picked up for $4.99 on Blackwell's. Volume 2 I picked up from Forbidden Planet, and 5, 7 and 8 were all second hand for about £4.50. I got volume 6 last month, so I have, if I can get 2 and 3, I've got 3 and 4. If I can get 3 and 4, I'll be able to read up to volume 8, which will be nice. It's a 16 volume series. I've read volume 1 and I did enjoy it quite a bit. It was my like, if it remains that level of drama throughout, I'll be quite happy. I enjoyed it. But furry, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense volume 2. And it's quite sad because I picked up volume 3 I think last month or the month before, and I was missing volume 2. I hadn't seen it in store and it was too expensive on Blackwell's or online for me to pick it up. And then this appeared in store again, so I can start reading the series. It is an isekai in the sense, it's like Sword Art Online where they're playing a video game and they like come and go from the video game. so it's not like a proper reincarnation, but that still is an isekai. And she's like crazy overpowered, and she's now like she's playing with a friend, and her friend's like fairly overpowered as well, and it's just great. Oh, I love that sort of thing, all the stats and the skills and the item drops, and yeah. Boruto 13. I don't want to say too much about this volume because it's been pretty much all spoilers at this point. But I must say, I can't believe how long it took me to read it after I bought the volume, because I'd completely forgotten about the big cliffhanger at the end of volume 12. And then I started reading volume 13. I was like, why did I put this off? Oh my goodness, I needed to see the outcome to this. Yeah, I'm glad I picked it up. I'm really enjoying Boruto. I feel at the beginning of Boruto it felt very much like, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I'm just not sure. But it's definitely, in my opinion, picked up and gotten better throughout the series so far. I read somewhere that the author doesn't want the Boruto, oh my gosh, my words. No, they don't want the Boruto series combined to really go above 100 volumes. So because Naruto is 72, the rumours are Boruto is going to be about 30, and we're on 13. So if that stays true, then we're approaching halfway through the series. Bungo Stray Dogs Volume 1. Very excited to pick this up. I've been wanting to pick this up since before I even joined like the manga community, before lockdown. And it's just been out of stock for that long, and it's quite sad actually. And finally, when I was in Forbidden Planet about a week ago, they had a massive box on the floor just filled with volume 1s of this, and it was like, yes, finally. But also, I mean, going to Forbidden Planet was amazing because they just had like boxes of restocks like all over the floor, and they had nowhere to put them on the shelves. I felt a bit bad for them, but also great. But also I kept tripping on the boxes because I just got too excited, which was not good. But yeah, so nice to see this being reprinted. Yen Press have said a lot of the series that are out of stock they are going to reprint. It's just taking a lot of time to get them out because of all the various issues that are occurring. So just a little patience. Like Case Study of Vanitas, I'm fairly sure they've said is getting a reprint, and there was another series they said recently, Barakamon, something like that. Case Closed, Volume 6, 11, and 81. Oh my goodness, I am 3 volumes off being up to date with Case Closed, and I'm so excited. Unfortunately, those volumes that I need is Volume 7 and Volumes 2 and 3. So yeah, I haven't started reading the series yet, and you might be like, it's a lot of commitment for a series it's not started reading. I do know like what the series is about, and mysteries is like one of my favourite kind of things. I love mysteries, and I'm happy with like episodic mysteries. Like that's some of my favourite kinds of TV shows. All those sort of like, there's a murder in New York, Manhattan, every episode, and they resolve it in that episode. Those sort of things, I love them. So I'm very excited to read Case Closed. Next we have Cells at Work Code Black, Volume 4. This was also a second-hand copy. It is a little battered. If you don't know, Cells at Work Code Black is the adult spin-off, which talks about more adult things that might happen in the body. What have we got here? Okay. I'm not sure. Should I... okay. Something about pancreatic collapse. Something in the bum. Something that happens in the bum, and then something that can only happen to a man. If you haven't read the Cells at Work series, I would definitely recommend. If you're not interested in the adult version, which the only difference is they talk about more adult issues, for example, anything to do with sex or alcohol or drug abuse, that sort of thing tends to go into this one. Cells at Work, the OG series, talks about more tame things like heat exhaustion, and maybe a tummy bug. And there's also a baby version, which is like how things like work in a baby, how things get going once they've like been birthed and stuff. There's a whole bunch of versions that have not been printed physically. I think there's like a girl version, bacteria, platelets. I think there's like 5. I can't remember them all. There's loads. If they print them all, that'd be really neat. They're super interesting. I've learnt so much, but there's so much Latin. I have to be really awake to read it, and unfortunately I do most of my reading just before I go to bed. So I need to like pick these up when I'm more awake in the middle of the day. Chilling in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers Volume 3. This is probably one of my of all like the Isekai that came out over the summer last year, because there was a lot of new Isekai that came out over the summer last year, this is one of the ones that I think has remained strong so far. A lot of them, the trope they introduced in the first volume, it's like, that's interesting, that's fun, that's cool, that's different, and then you keep reading and you're like, okay, I'm a bit bored now. But this one I'm still enjoying this one. It's really good. Classroom of the Elite Volume 1. So there is a very popular light novel series based off this, and they have now started doing a manga. I was actually a bit disappointed with this. I felt like nothing really happened, and I think it was all set up. That's what it's feeling like. But I don't know, I think because of how hyped I heard the series was, I was expecting a bit more. I'm of course going to keep reading, but I am also tempted to pick up the light novel as well, and yeah, I hope it improves. I hope I'm right in Volume 1 is just set up. Combatants Will Be Dispatched Volume 6. This is actually a series that my partner's been reading, and I haven't gotten around to it yet. It's the same author as Konosuba, I think, and I think it's also an isekai. I don't really know much about it other than that, except that I know he really, really enjoys it. Sorry. Delicious in Dungeon Volume 10. Another one that my partner reads, and he's read this one and I haven't yet. Actually, I'm not even up to date with the ones I got. They're getting a lot more pricier. My Forbidden Planet had this at $13.99, so making that as part of a 3 for 2 was a bit of a pain, because you don't get too many $13.99 series. I'd probably stick to try and buying it off Blackwell's at that point. I find as soon as you hit a certain price range, buying them in store is not as cheap as buying it like secondhand or offline. You can usually get better deals there, and this is probably starting to verge into that territory. Demon Slayer Stories of Water and Flame. I found the Demon Slayer series fine. I think one of the things that put me off a bit was the art style. It just wasn't my sort of thing. I wasn't that bothered by it. So reading this has been quite pleasant because it's a different artist, and I think the art's really, really nice. And also we see a whole bunch of this character who we don't see as much in the main series, so it was nice to see them a bit more in action, see a bit more of the character, because I don't feel like I really got to know him too much, so that's why I didn't really I was a bit unbothered by him. Do you like Big Girls Volumes 1, 2 and 3? They're all plastic wrapped. Volume 1 looks like Forbidden Planet plastic wrapped, but 2 and 3 were plastic wrapped by the publisher. From all accounts, because obviously I've not read them, there's still plastic wrapped. From all accounts I've seen, it's a silly, ecchi high school sort of series, and I'm all up for those. That sounds great. Does a Hot Elf Live Next Door to You? Volume 3. I've not even read Volume 2. Volume 1 was fine. It was very over the top and silly, but it is an isekai. It's a reverse isekai where people have come from fantasy lands to Japan, and the elf girl in question has the elf girl in question has isekai'd over here because she's a big otaku and really likes manga, and it just appeals to my sense of humour. I wouldn't particularly say it's a great story though. 2 volumes of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagtara Volumes 6 and 7. It's another series where I'm trying to catch up to date with before I start reading. I was nearly there, and then Volume 10 released about a week ago, so I'm now about 3 volumes behind. Maybe it's one that next time I go to Forbidden Planet, I can just do a 3 for 2 with those 3 volumes. Undecided. Dorohedoro Volume 10. Goodness, this series is hard to collect. I think I'm only missing about 5 volumes now. Unfortunately, 2 of those volumes are 2 and 4, and 23, and then there's another one. I can't remember which one there is. My poor teetering tower. Next, we have Dr. Slump Volume 3. I kept umming and ahhing about if I should pick this series up, because I think it's like mid to late teens number of volumes in the series, and very, very old and very hard to find. So it's the same. It's Toriyama. So Dragon Ball person. I think this was before Dragon Ball, potentially. I don't want to say for sure because I can't remember. But it has appealed. I have wanted to pick it up. So I picked this up secondhand, I think, for like £3. And I'm just going to see what I can do with picking up the rest. Next we have Dreaming the Sun Volume 8. So I read up to Volume 7 and I picked up Volume 10, and I've really struggled to find Volumes 8 and 9. Like, I found this for about £7.50 on somewhere. I don't remember where I picked it up now. And I was like, great, I'm going to grab this. And Volume 9, I was looking it up and I could only find it for like £12-13. And I'm like, no. Considering, considering I don't really like the series so far, being completely honest, but I wanted to save like any complete thoughts I had until I wrapped up the series completely in case things changed or anything happened, but I have not been able to do that because of missing volumes. I'm hoping to be able to find Volume 9 in the next couple of months. Next we have Drugstore in Another World, The Slow Life of a Cheap Pharmacist Volume 4. I made a mistake, not a horrendous mistake. I picked Volume 4 up because I thought I already had Volume 3. I don't have Volume 3, I only have 1 and 2, so I can't read this one yet, so I need to wait. Next time I go manga shopping, I'll pick up Volume 3, because I'm fairly sure they had both. Just in my head, I was like, I'm fairly sure I've got 3, and I didn't check the spreadsheet. Always check the spreadsheet. So the first two volumes on top are Fire Force 16 and 17. These were both second hand, I think. And yeah, I'm just filling in gaps till I am up to date with the series, at which point I will try and read it at that point. I'm fairly sure I'm only missing, I think, 3 volumes before I have a clear run, and I think another volume might have come out, so 25 might not be the latest anymore. 26 might be out soon. But either way, I am closely approaching catching upness with the series. Fly Me to the Moon Volume 9. I've not read Volume 8 yet, I just hadn't got round to it, and then already Volume 9 is out, and I'm like 90% sure Volume 10 is out as well. These are these are flying out really quickly, goodness me. I don't know what volume they're up to in Japan. Maybe they're trying to play catch up or something, but goodness me. It's a very sweet series, and I keep thinking I don't enjoy it as much as I do, but I do like it, and goodness, I just can't believe how quickly they're pumping them out. Next we have Flying Witch Volume 10. This is a new release, I think. I got 1 to 9 for Christmas, and I've read the first volume or 2, and it's super sweet. It's a super like chill series, and there's witches. Oh yeah, witches. And yeah, I'm really excited. I should probably sit down and binge this series as well. It's so cute. It's by Vertical, so the volumes are a bit differently shaped to most of the other series, which is a shame. But all the covers are so pretty. They're so pretty covers, this Flying Witch. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, Volume 1. This took ages to come out in the UK, to the point that I think Volume 3 had come out in the US, and weirdly Volume 2 of this had come out in the UK, but it's still not hit stores yet. I haven't seen any volumes in store yet. So seeing this was great. Finally glad to be able to pick it up and read why a lot of people keep talking really highly of this. I was curious to see why. It wasn't quite what I was expecting from a fantasy. I was quite excited because Viz don't tend to print too many like fantasy kind of series, and yeah, I was unsure about this one, I gotta be honest, but I'm interested to see how it continues in the next few volumes. Fruits Basket Volume 5 Collector's Edition. I picked this up secondhand for about £8, I think. Most of when I pick up like big volumes like this, I tend to go for a maximum of about £8, maybe 9. So I think that's about at least half price. I don't know how much it retails for in pounds. I can't remember. I've had volumes 1 and 2 of the collector's edition for quite a while now, and because I've started picking them up secondhand, I kind of want to keep picking them up secondhand because I like paying those kind of prices. But it does mean I'm probably going to have to haul off a bit and wait a while, because they obviously don't come up too often. So I've got, I think, 1, 2, 5 and 10, so I have a way to go. But I'll get there, and then binging through that I think will be quite fun. Golden Japanesque, A Splendid Yokohama Romance Volume 3. I have had volume 4 for quite a while, and volume 3 hasn't, still to this day, come in stock in store. I picked this up from Blackwell's eventually. I don't know why it was hard to find for me in the UK. It wasn't on Blackwell's either for quite a while, and I don't know. I find it's an interesting romance. It's not one of my favourite, but it's still kind of fun to read because there's a lot of conflict. A lot of it feels unnecessary, but maybe it's just I'm not used to the culture's different to what I'm used to. I don't know, which is one of the reasons it's interesting to read about. And I'm looking forward to reading 3 and 4 back to back. I actually don't know how many volumes this series has or if it's complete. I can't imagine it'll be a too long a series. Golden Kamuy volumes 15 and 24. Oh my goodness, you don't understand how excited I was to find volume 15. Volume 15 has been out of stock like everywhere for, we're approaching I think a year now that I've been looking for it. A year? That's probably a bit dramatic. At least since the summer of 2021 I've been looking for volume 15, and it's like the one volume that just wasn't anywhere. It wasn't in any, I went to like 4 different manga shops and it wasn't in stock on Amazon, it wasn't in stock on Blackwell's. I tried like 2 other stores and online and they didn't have them either. Like, what's happened to this volume? And then there was a day and I saw like a line of 6 of them in Travelling Man. I was like, yes, it was very exciting. And 24 was the latest volume. I think 25 came out rather recently in the UK, and I think that might be in the manga boxes over there. We'll have to see, or you might have already seen by now. And yeah, I think the moment I unbox 25, if it's there, so today, I might decide to try and binge through these. I've read through like the first like 3 or 4 volumes, and then I started having some difficulty picking up volumes, and then 15 happened and I was like, I'm gonna wait now until I can find 15, and now I found 15, so I'm gonna try and binge through these. The Golden Sheep volume 2. I got volumes 1 and 3 for Christmas, but unfortunately apparently volume 2 was out of stock at the time, so when this was stacked in one of the restock boxes in Forbidden Planet, I was like, yes, thank you. This is probably another series I'm going to try and read in the next month or 2 because it's only 3 volumes long. Grand Blue Dreaming 15. If you have not watched my top 10 manga series of all time, why not? And also, this was on it, spoiler alert. I feel like this volume just solidified my love for the series. I think the chapter in this where they pick chestnuts might be my favourite Grand Blue Dreaming chapter of all time. I don't know why. There were just so many points in it that just tickled me so much. Like, I ended up actually crying with laughter, and very happy with it. Very happy. I feel it definitely appeals to a certain sense of humour, and it just so happens that that's the sense of humour that I have. Next we have Haiku, volume 28. Yeah, I'm trying to pick up Haiku. It's going very slowly. I've been going for a couple of years now. I still am missing a bunch of volumes. I've got over half the volumes now. I think I have like 26 Haiku volumes stretching from volume 1 to volume 43. Quite a few of them I think need reprints, but Viz are reprinting them, and I've seen some of the volumes I need. They have reprinted them. They've just not made their way over to the UK yet. So it's just sort of, it's kind of fun. It's like I'm doing a puzzle, just with manga. Next we have Hell's Paradise, volume 12. This only came into stores about 2 weeks ago, so mid-March I think, and I know 13 was already out in the US, but I don't imagine 13 will be out in the UK stores for another few weeks at least. I know there are places online you can get it, but I'm predominantly trying to stick to picking up my Viz in store. So I binged about 4 or 5 volumes of this because I'd fallen behind, and I decided I wanted to try and like be up to date and ready for volume 13, and I think that actually helped because I was a bit meh about the series. I gotta be honest, I think I might be the only one, and I did enjoy it binging them because I kept track of who was who and what was going on. I still don't feel the way I think a lot of people do about the series, but I think I've enjoyed it a bit more now, having binged a few volumes. The Hero Life of a Self-Proclaimed Mediocre Demon, Volume 1. So this sounded like an isekai. It isn't, it's just a fantasy, and I gotta be honest, lots of sort of moments in the volume. There's a whole bunch of stuff about slavery, where he's kind of made these girls his slave, and he's not quite sure how or why, I think. I don't know. It just started getting really weird. It all started getting weird. It was fine. Like, he was overpowered. Like, that's great. That's fun. That's interesting. I like this. What do you mean she's now his slave? The Heroic Legend of Arslan. Very excited to pick this up. This was on Blackwell's for $5.99, $4.99. I can't remember which 99 it is. I picked up a whole bunch of the series secondhand. Oh, it's very faint, isn't it? Picked up a whole bunch of the series secondhand, and unfortunately I was missing volume 1. I'm still missing, I think, some early volumes, so I'm probably going to still hold off reading it just yet until I have a few more. I think there's like 15 volumes out in the UK, and I've got like 10, just not in order. It's the same artist as Fullmetal Alchemist and Silver Spoon and something else, I think. I can't remember. My mind's gone blank. So I'm looking forward to that. I do like her art style quite a lot. Hinamatsuri Volume 4. For Christmas, I got a lot of volumes for this series. The only volumes I didn't get were Volume 1 and Volume 4. And now I have Volumes 4. The only one I'm missing is Volume 1. So that's going to be a wonderful binge when I can get hold of that volume. Next week, I got caught up in A Hero Summons, but the other world was at peace. Volume 3. This is another kind of meh kind of isekai. I've just not gotten really into it. I'm not too sure why either. A guy's been isekai'd with like a group of people, and it turns out only one of them was needed, and the rest can go home, but they can't go home for another year because they can't do the spell or transportation or something for another year, so they're kind of just hanging around. I think, is that? Yeah, it's this one. Sometimes I mix up my isekais, forgive me. But so far he's kind of just sort of milling around. He kind of made friends. He's made friends, I think, like the Demon King Lord person. I'm not rushing to pick this one up. If I see a new volume in store, I pick it up, but I'm not like eagle-eyed keeping an eye out for it. I'm in Love with the Villainess, Volume 2. So this is an isekai based off a light novel. It is a GL series where our main character, this one, has been reincarnated into an otome game that she played, but instead of going for any of the like route options, any of the dudes, she is like completely in love with the villainess, and the villainess is like confused and baffled by the whole thing, but she is like completely undying in love with her, and it's kind of sweet. It's volume 2 I think was definitely better than volume 1. Volume 1 I found a bit awkward and strange, particularly with the villainess being very like grumpy about the whole thing, but like the villainess is chilling out a whole bunch at the moment, and I think that made me enjoy it more. I'm not sure if I want to try the light novels yet. I might do one day. I might wait for a bunch more manga first. I think there's like 4 light novels out so far. I'm the Villainess, so I'm Taming the Final Boss, Volume 3. This is the last volume in the series. I think the light novels, there's more content. I think there's more of them. I don't know if they're still ongoing though. I'm not sure. I should have looked that up. I really enjoyed this. This is the kind of dramatic stuff I want from a romance series, and it's an isekai, and it's a villainess. It was just like ticking all of my boxes, and it was just so wonderfully dramatic by the end of the series. It was just what I wanted. Very happy with it. I enjoyed it a lot. If you want a dramatic romance, short romance that's also an isekai, do try this one. It's great. Inspector Volumes 4 and 12. So I think my partner bought these because this is a series he's reading, so I'm not particularly up to date. I've read Volume 1, but he has read up to Volume 4. We're missing, I think, 5 and 6, and then we'll have a clear run to what's up to date, because I've been buying a lot of these secondhand or off Blackwell's when they've got them on sale for him. I'm a bit tickled that like the colours are almost the same. They're both green, funky green. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Familia Chronicle Episode Liu, Volume 1. This is a spin-off for Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. Is Girls in the Dungeon has quite a few spin-offs, like 5 or 6, I think. I have 3, I think, right now. And there's also light novels. I think some of the spin-offs also have light novels. So one of the main ones I haven't started collecting yet is one called Sword Orotia, I don't know, which is surrounding some of the other women, I think. It'd be really neat to have a complete collection of all the spin-offs. Same with Sword Art Online. They're like 2 crazy spin-off series that I'm trying to go for. And Puella Magi, I suppose. I have been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level, volume 7. I haven't been myself reading up to date with this. I actually started to get quite bored around volume 5. There wasn't really much happening and I didn't feel particularly interested in the characters. My partner stayed up to date but has kind of said the same sort of thing. So this is the latest volume. I don't think I've read volume 6 yet though. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Volume 3. This was a other second-hand volume. I think I paid about £9 for. I'm very excited. I really, 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 really want to catch up to date on JoJo. I've not read very much at all. Only volume 1 of part 1. I'm missing 2 volumes of part 3 and then I will be completely up to date. And at that point, I want to do a binge of them all back to back because, you know, I hate myself a little. I don't know. Will it burn me out? I'm not sure. Let me know. But that's kind of what I've been holding out for now. Trying to get the last couple of volumes that I need to then binge them. Next we have Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 14. I got this actually on Blackwell's for £4.29. And I don't know why I can remember that. Which is actually a little cheaper than 3 for 2. I've noticed that Blackwell's quite often will have pre-orders of like the standard size Vizzes for a little cheaper than you would buy it for 3 for 2, usually by about 40-30p. So it's not a huge amount, but it adds up if you buy a bunch of manga like I do. And this is one of them. And in fact, they shipped it to me, I think like 3 weeks before it said release date. I pre-ordered it and it was like the next day, yep, we shipped it. And it's like, but it says release at the end of the month. Jujutsu Kaisen is another series that I put off reading because I was missing some early volumes. I have the early volumes, so I need to get on it. I've got a long list of ones I want to try and like binge in the next month or 2 because I tend to read series a lot quicker when I binge them. And Jujutsu Kaisen is one I want to get up to date with. Kakiguri Volume 14. Goodness me, like I think this was originally going to release like early January and it just kept pushing back. And then Amazon sent me an email saying, yeah, we don't know when we're going to ship it to you. And I was like, oh, fine, okay. And then the next day it was like 3 stops away. Dear God, Amazon, calm down. I really enjoy Kakiguri. It's sad that it doesn't release very often. It's about a volume a year at the moment, just under a year. So I do struggle to remember what's been happening between volumes, particularly the current arc, which is the like presidential gambling tokeny sort of arc. I completely forgot about that until I was at least a chapter into this one. I quite enjoyed the game they played in this volume, though they just seem to be getting more and more elaborate. Like, just playing with cards is too basic for these people. We must use a building that we had constructed specifically for this one strange game. Kakariko Bed and Breakfast for Spirits, Volume 7. I'm going to start off with saying this is disappointingly thin, especially since it's been so long since the last volume came out. But also, the volume was fine. How much longer is the series going on for? It feels like a lot of it is dragging and not a huge amount is happening. I also, because it's been so long, it took me till halfway through the volume to remember some of the things that happened in the previous volume. And I originally, way back when, picked up this series because I was looking for something to replace Food Wars, and this had food on the cover, and I mean, there is a lot of food in it, and they're definitely my favourite bits, but it doesn't happen as often as I'd like. Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight, Volume 4. So this is secondhand. It's got a bit of a rip on the cover there, you can see. This was the last volume I was missing before I had a clear run. I don't have 11 and 12 still, but I had the rest up to Volume 10. So I binged 4 through 10 during March, which was quite pleasant. I did quite enjoy doing that because it meant I remembered all the names, because some of the characters definitely look quite similar, and I didn't get them mixed up because I read them so quickly. Though in hindsight, considering I read like 7 volumes, I can barely tell you like some of the big moments that happened. They all blurred into one. I did quite enjoy this. It is quite a big age gap, but you kind of forget the age gap's so big because I keep thinking she's older and he's younger. I think it helps that the sort of job he has as sort of a model, actor, singer, idol deal is often done by younger men anyway. So when I keep imagining that he's a lot younger than he is, he's not. Which helps with the age gap, I think. It helps you forget about it, at least. Kirby's Manga Mania Volume 3. Generally, I find the series fine. The lot of the humour definitely is aimed at someone of a younger age. It's very silly, it's very slapstick, and it is quite enjoyable, but I find it a struggle to read like chapters back to back. Like if I read a chapter and then move on and then come back and do a chapter, I enjoy it more than if I try to read the whole thing at once. And I read this one all at once, and I tried to do chapter by chapter volume 2, and I definitely enjoyed going through volume 2 more than I did going through volume 3. There were points where I just kind of wanted to stop with this. Again, it's not bad, it's very silly, very, very silly and dumb, kind of like kiddie kind of humour, but also like weirdly adult all at once. I can't quite pin this kind of humour. Kami Can't Communicate Volume 15. Like this came out this month in the UK, and I'm fairly sure 17 is out in the US, potentially 18. 16 weirdly came out 2 weeks before this one did. Komi is my favourite series, and being able to read 2 volumes back to back was so wonderful. And 17 I think comes out, it might be May, I might have a little bit of a wait for 17. But I read both 15 and 16 in March, and oh my goodness, 16 might be my favourite Komi volume yet. It was beautiful. It was just beautiful. Levius Est Volume 4. I don't have much to say about this other than I started trying to pick it up, but I don't have volume 1, and I don't have the prequel because I think this is a sequel series, so the OG series. So I've got a bit to go before I can read it. We're another stack down. Only 2 to go, though it actually probably looks a bit more deceiving because there are a chunk more series piles in these 2. So on top here, so it's not as teetering, we have 2 manga classics. We have Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. This is part of my operation collect all the manga classics in 2022, and it's going quite well. I think I'm missing about 6. Can we see in the back here which ones I don't have? I don't have A Midsummer Night's Dream, I don't have Les Mis, Count of Monte Cristo, Jane Eyre, Anne of Green Gables. There's more than that. That doesn't have all of them in the back. Dang it, that's a shame. Emma, I don't have Emma either. These are super neat. In fact, I managed to convince my company's book club to do one for their next book of choice, and that is, which one is it? Manga Classics, Edgar Allan Poe. So I need to actually read Edgar Allan Poe soon, and I'm going to join in on that book club, and I'm very excited because all these people are going to have to read manga. Next we have Love Me, Not Volume 12. This is the last volume of the series. I've done quite well for completing series, haven't I? This one took a while to get to the UK as well. I did actually quite like how it ended. There's one bit about it that just felt a bit unnecessary. It felt like they were trying to quickly get some last minute drama in for the sake of some last minute drama. So that bit, it's like, no, you could have just removed that. I'd have been happy if you removed that. But the rest of it, I was quite happy with. I think this has definitely been my favourite Io Sakusaka series published in English so far. So out of this and Strobe Edge and A Horror Ride, this one's been my favourite. I think just because it's almost like we've gotten 2 stories for the price of 1, because we've got 2 lead ladies with completely different kinds of personalities, and let's not cover their faces, different kinds of personalities and love lives, and yeah, we've kind of seen both, but also, oh wait, that's spoilers. I'm going to say nothing else. But yeah, there are other reasons that I have enjoyed it more than the other 2, but that's spoilers. Next we have volumes 1 and 2 of Love Sick Ellie. So I know this is actually a series that I was aware of before it got commissioned. That's not the right word. Licensed to be printed in English, because a lot of people seem to really really like it and wanted it printing. I actually really enjoy it. Once you get over like the first couple of chapters where she's been a bit weird around fantasizing around a real person, which to me is a bit strange, like actually fantasizing about someone that you know and you see day to day. It's a bit weird. But he seems to be fine with it and like kind of enjoys it, at which point I was like, oh, okay, fine, I can enjoy this then. I really like how much the main character is a perv. Right, what do they keep saying? She's like thirsty? Is that what they keep saying? Pervy girl, that sort of thing. I really like that, because I think you get a lot of the like main characters in shoujos who are all quite prim and like too shy to hold hands and stuff. And it's like, oh, come on, come on now, come on. Next we have volumes 2 and 3 of Mao. These, again, Viz is awful for getting new releases over to the UK, because I picked these both up on the same day in Leeds. It took them that long to come out, and they both arrived in store at the same time. I think I've pre-ordered volume 4 on Blackwell's, because it was another one of those fairly discounted kind of deals. I have read volume 1, but I think I'm going to wait for volume 4 to arrive, and then I'm going to read 2, 3 and 4 in one go together. Mars read volume 1. I picked this up on Blackwell's for $4.99, and I didn't really get it. It was fine. I think I just got a bit bored. I wasn't that interested in it that much, to be honest. I have seen a lot of people who really love it, and I kind of don't get it. Volume 2 has come out fairly recently, so I'll keep picking them up and see if maybe it improves. I don't know. Next we have Martial Magic and Muscles Volume 4. Volume 3, I felt that there was too much seriousness in it. There was like fighting and proper serious talks and stuff, and I was like, no, stop that. That's not why I like Martial. And then Volume 4 had a lot more silliness in it, and I was very happy with it. I think volume 5 should be out in the UK shortly, looking at the way dates are. Usually when Amazon UK says something will come out is about the time it hits shelves in store, so I think I have till mid-April for volume 5 to come out in store, which isn't that far away, so I'm quite excited, and I can't wait. Midnight Secretary volume 6. I've had like the first 3-4 volumes for a really long time, and then I picked up volume 7 last month, and I picked up volume 7 this month, so I'm only missing volume 5 because it is complete 7 volumes. It is, from my understanding, like a smutty josei sort of series, but it's kind of hard to find. So yeah, this was secondhand, and I paid about £5 for it, but I could only find volume 6 for a bit above retail, and I wouldn't pay retail anyway. I'd be looking to pay £5 or less, so I'm just holding out for that, and I'll read through it the moment I get volume 5. Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun volume 12. This was also second hand. I think I paid about £4 for it. It was really cheap, and I'm just quickly checking it's English. Yeah, it's English, because I nearly bought a copy of this in German accidentally. I've read only volume 1 so far because they seem kind of expensive. I don't often see them discounted. It is a like comedy romance, and it's in 4-koma style, where the main guy writes a romance, I think, and this girl has a crush on him and wants to like help him do his magazine so she can be closer to him. Try to rearrange a little. Next we have Moriarty the Patriot volume 6. This might be my favourite volume of Moriarty, purely because of something that happens right towards the end. There's like one panel, and that made me very happy, and it very much caught me by surprise, and I was like, oh! I'm not going to say what it is because it's spoilers, potentially, and I don't want to do that. You might enjoy happening upon it yourselves. This was a good volume. I really enjoy Sherlock stuff. I think 7 has come out really recently as well. Maybe the Viz releases are starting to catch up, and I'll get like a splurge of them close together. Multi-Mind Mayhem Isekai Tensei Sudoku volume 2. This is an isekai, but it's a bit weird, where 2 characters have been isekai'd into the mind of a baby, but the mind of the baby is still there, so there's kind of 3 people living in this one body, but there is like a main person that controls it. And one of the minds is this like really old samurai guy who's like a drunkard, and the other one is a Japanese high school student. And they kind of just sort of use their knowledge to be able to do things they shouldn't be able to do. Like, the Japanese high school student talks about being able to, how you can gold plate stuff. They and they can then sell off all this jewellery that looks like gold but it's just plated. And it's just really interesting because I like isekais that bring stuff from the previous life, which this one does. There's just a whole bunch of added steps to it to make it a bit strange. My Love Mix-Up Volume 2. This it feels like a more light-hearted version of Blue Flag, and I was unsure with Volume 1. I found Volume 1 fine, though I found it was a little dull. And then Volume 2 really picked up, and I quite enjoyed Volume 2 a whole bunch more, so I'm actually excited for Volume 3 now. Can't wait for it. I was checking like release dates and everything. New Gate Volume 7. I've only read Volume 1 of this. I've been trying to get up to date, and I nearly was, and then Volume 8 came out when I went to go pick this one up. This is kind of like Sword Art Online, but where they've been trapped in a video game and can't get out, and Volume 1 starts with they finally defeated the boss where they can escape the game, but the guy who sort of defeated the boss is still stuck in the game for some reason. And he wakes up and he's still in the game, but it's like 200 years later, and NPCs aren't like NPCs anymore. They're like real people, and it's all a bit strange. And yeah, I couldn't wait to read more, but I didn't have Volume 2 at the time, and I think I was missing, what else was I missing? Volume 6? Yeah, I think I was missing 2 and 6. So I was like, okay, maybe at this point I'll wait till I'm up to date and then I'll read through it a bunch. So I'm gonna need to pick up Volume 8 and then I'll read a bunch of this. But also I started reading another Isekai sort of series, so I might wait to spread them out a bit. So I'm not reading Isekai after Isekai after Isekai after Isekai after Isekai after Isekai. Next we have Nichiju Volume 7. So this was the only volume in Nichiju I was missing, so this is a series complete as well. It is a 10-volume series. It is, I've read Volume 1 and it was absolutely not what I was expecting. It was very silly and great and wonderful and sweet and lovely, and I can't wait to read the rest now. It just, it was lovely. No Guns Life Volumes 10 and 11. I've been starting to pick this up recently because I heard it was kind of like cyberpunky, and that's the kind of series that my partner really enjoys. Well, not just series, anything. He enjoys all things cyberpunky. I haven't, unfortunately, I've struggled to find volumes 1 and 2. They've not been in store, and I think I saw volume 1 at retail price and I was like, no, I'll wait. But I'm almost caught up already. I'm pretty much just missing 1 and 2. There might be a few volumes in my manga stack of parcels, hopefully, which I'll find out when I open them after this. Next we have 3 volumes of Osen Idol, Volume 1, Volume 2 and Volume 4. So both 1 and 4 were bought second hand, Volume 2 was bought in store. It's sort of a series that follows, all the main characters are in their 30s or 40s and they're becoming idols. It's kind of, I think, the gist of what's happening. I read Volume 1 and I just sort of ended up a bit confused and a little bored. I found it a little dull. But it was also interesting at the same time. I don't quite understand how that works. I'm looking forward to reading more. I'll probably wait till I get Volume 3 before I read any more though, and I think 5 is out pretty soon too. Next we have Parallel Paradise Volume 9. Yeah, this is a ghost ship series. It is plastic wrapped. It is an isekai. It is disturbing. This is a series I really probably wouldn't recommend to anyone. The story has started to pick up and be a bit more interesting. The reason that it's plastic wrapped a little less so. It's still pretty disturbing. Very disturbing. Persona 5 Volume 8. So this volume pretty much got us through most of the 4th... what's the word? Palace. Palace. They got us most of the way through the Four Palace. You could probably guess which palace it is. If you're anywhere near familiar with the game, you probably understand what's happening. We've kind of just sort of gotten to the boss fight by the end of the volume. I'm unsure how I feel about the series, because I've played Persona 5. I can't tell if that makes it better or worse, because some bits feel rushed and some bits don't, and it's just, yeah, I'm undecided. It's kind of fun to read, especially since you've already played it. Pokemon Journeys Volume 1. Here I am trying to catch up with all the Pokemon manga releases, and they just keep releasing more. And I don't know where Journeys is set. When Ash and Pikachu hitch a ride aboard the legendary Pokemon Lugia, they discover another kid is also on board. Meet Go, who wants to catch every Pokemon ever, including Mew. Can Ash and Go make their lofty dreams come true? Okay, so it's like there's just another kid there, I guess, from the beginning. Also it's Ash. You don't often get Ash. Okay, I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I read it. I'm going to do these two together, which is Rent-A-Girlfriend Volume 10 and Rent-A-Really-Shy Girlfriend Volume 2. I haven't read Rent-A-Girlfriend Volume 10 yet. I don't remember how Volume 9 ended. Oh yeah, I do remember. I should add that. I should read that soon then. Rent-A-Girlfriend Volume 2, I actually found a little disappointing considering how much I enjoyed Volume 1. Volume 1 reminded me a lot about Komi. Except instead of in a high school environment, they were a college student, but it was a similar sort of trying to improve yourself. Whereas Volume 2 is kind of like caught up with the main series, so we see a whole bunch of the main dude, and I'm just not that bothered about the main dude at all. I think he's a bit of a douche, gotta be honest. I wanted to just see more of her, so the chapters which didn't have the guy in, I still enjoyed quite a bit. It was just him. Secretly, I've been suffering about being sexless, and I think this is a one-shot volume. I picked this up second-hand for about £5, and yeah, I want to read more stuff like this. I've seen a lot of people say good things about this one, and I want to read a lot more of like things like this. Giraffe at the End, Volume 23. This was another one I got on Blackwell's. I think this was at like £4.99 or something, or maybe £5.29. £5.29 seems to be fairly common. I've had some mixed feelings about Giraffe at the End over the past few years. Nothing to do with the series itself. I've mentioned it before, that I was late for work because I was reading it once, I missed my train, and like I unintentionally blamed the series and have struggled to get back into it since. I know it's such a dumb reason, which is why recently I've tried to catch up with it and I want to try and read it. I haven't started reading it yet. I have about 13 volumes I could read, I think. Yeah, I read up to 10. So I kind of want to binge through it and see if it brings back my love for the series. She Professed Herself, Pupil of the Wise Man, Volume 3. Another, like, Isekai, where they've been trapped in a video game, except it's like a middle-aged man used to play like an old man in this video game, and he thought it'd be silly to glamour himself to look like a young girl, and he couldn't undo the glamour, and then he couldn't get out the game, and then some weird stuff happened, and he's pretending that she's the pupil to the old man, because the old man had like clout and shit. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, I'm the pupil apprentice, and they're like, prove it, and because it's the same character, they can do like all the same magic and stuff. And like, oh yeah, you must be the apprentice pupil thing. I've actually quite enjoyed this. Volume 1 was a bit weird, but when you get to the end of the volume, I think it said that they weren't sure how many manga volumes they were going to be allowed, so they tried to squeeze as much of the first light novel into one manga volume as they could. Was it the first one or the first two? Either way, it felt a bit rushed, and then apparently they were told they could have quite a few more volumes, so they're able to like slow down the pacing a bit more, which I'm looking forward to because I was enjoying the story. It just felt very much like but if they're slowing it down because they're getting more manga volumes, then I'm up for that. I'm looking forward to that. Snow White with the Red Hair Volume 17, a series that I am picking up and staying up to date with, but I haven't been reading the past few. I got a little bored around the volume where they're in the snowy place and they like cure the disease. and I don't know why, I just kind of fell away from it a bit, and I've been picking it up since, but I think I'm a good like 5 volumes behind now. I'm unsure. It's a very long running series. I think it's already in the 20s, and I don't know, a lot of people love it, and I just find it fine. It's fine. It's very much fine. It's a consistent like 6 out of 10 for me. Soul Eater Volume 9. This is the single. I prefer singles. Also, this is secondhand and a library copy. I haven't taken the cover off yet. I prefer picking up singles when I can, and I'm worried I've left it a bit too late to be able to pick up these singles, because they started printing the like perfect editions, hardback ones, and I don't really want those. I'd rather pick these up, but they're really expensive now. I picked this one up for about £5, and that's pushing what I'm happy to pay. I have like, I think 4 Soul Eater volumes not in order now. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do. I haven't decided yet. If I see them cheap enough, I'm still gonna pick them up. Look, we've got a stack of a series. I promised. So we have 6 volumes of The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. So volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is kind of an isekai, kind of. Not where the guy has reincarnated himself at the beginning of the series, but he's reincarnated himself in the same world, just a bunch in the future. So like, does that count as an isekai? I like to talk. Do ones where you reincarnate in the same world, are they still an isekai? Because isekai is about another world, but you're reincarnating and like the world's changed, and like it's like a time travel isekai. I don't to me, like the way the series treats it, it's the same kind of reason I like an isekai, so I kind of do comp them in the same sort of genre category, even if it isn't definitively an isekai. Finally, we're on to the last stack of manga haul, and thankfully most of the stack is actually just one series. Let's carefully bring it down. Oh my goodness, that is so wonky. So this massive stack of manga is Terraformers. So we have Terraformers 1 to 18 and volume 20. I think there are 22 volumes out at the moment, and it's been on hiatus for a little while, if I understand correctly. When did volume 20 come out? This was printed in 2018, so 4 years ago, and yeah, I think there's 22 out at the moment. I got 1 to 10 off eBay for about £50, so that was £5 a volume, and then I picked up the rest from Forbidden Planet and Travelling Man, and yeah, that was Travelling Man. I think Forbidden Planet have plastic wrapped theirs, so I mean, because that's definitely, they put them in like comic bags, and if they see explicit content in the corner there, if you can see that, if it's got an explicit content in the corner and it's not plastic wrapped, they'll plastic wrap themselves, I think. But my favourite is this volume, which is volume 15. That 3 for 2 sticker is old. It's very old. A Travelling Man one. It's like very, very old. Like, they even commented it on the till. Like, this is an old sticker. If you've already seen my unboxing video, because that should go up first, that does have 19, 21 and 22 in it, I hope. All I know about the series is Butch cockroaches on the moon, and that sounded sick as heck. That is definitely a series I'm going to start diving into soon, especially since I'm already up to date. That's great. That's really exciting. Look at this titchy little pile now. Not got very much left at all, have we? Okay, so next we have Toilet Bound Tanaka-kun Volume 0. This might actually be one of my favourite volumes of the series, and it was because of that story at the back of it. So this has no canonical story to it at all. This is like what they had drawn as like a one-shot or something for Hanako-kun before they did the main series, so it's a little strange. The first half is like the OG, what they drew first for Hanako-kun, and the art style's a bit different, and I don't like it. It's just off. It's not quite the same, and I don't like it. And then the second half, we've got a one-shot story that the artist drew for something else, and I really liked it. It is horrendously dark, really dark. Goodness, but I liked it. It was, yeah. And I think it actually worked really well as just a one-shot, so they were the characters in the one-shot, I think. Yeah, they were. Twin Star Exorcist Volume 24. I'm really close to being up to date with this series. I'm missing about 4 volumes now, and then I'm going to binge this one as well. I want to do a similar thing with Blue Exorcist and The Grey Man, but I'm really struggling to find like a couple of volumes from each of those, and I want to wait until they get reprinted and then I'll do those, whereas Twin Star Exorcist I haven't had as much of an issue, particularly since the only volumes I'm really missing are more recent ones, like a couple in the 20s and like late teens, whereas with The Grey Man and Blue Exorcist it's earlier volumes that I'm struggling with. But yeah, excited for that. Next we have Undead Unluck Volume 5, which is one of my favourite series at the moment. I was very excited. I got Volume 4 and 5 about a week apart, and Volume 6 is in theory going to be coming into stores in the next couple of weeks as well. It's just been one of my favourite shonen sort of series at the moment. It's silly, it's funny, it's serious, there's like a little bit of romance, and I don't know, it's just really appealed to me for some reason a lot. Vampire Knight Volume 18. So I picked up volumes 1 to 15 from a friend of a friend fairly recently, and I think there's only 19 volumes, so I'm already most of the way there. I just need to find the later ones. I picked this one up on Blackwell's for £4.50, I think. And yeah, so I just really trying to pick up the rest of the volumes. Because I'm close to the end, again, I'm going to wait until I have the rest and do a hella binge of the whole series. The Way of the House Husband, Volume 7. I found myself starting to get a little bored with Volume 6, but then I really enjoyed Volume 7 again. I don't know how long this series is going to be able to keep going for. I mean, it's very jolly, it's very silly. I do feel like I get through them a bit quicker than I'd like. But it is actually one of the few series I have reread the volumes quite a few times because I find them quite jolly and pleasant to read. Next we have Who Wants to Marry a Billionaire Volume 1. I feel like this is both like really fun and a bit like, it's like shitty good, I think, but I'm a right sucker for mystery, especially the sort of mystery that this volume ended with, and it's already a complete series from my understanding. I think it's like 7 volumes complete, though there is only 1 volume out in the UK, though 2 is out soon-ish, crossing everything. Oh, actually, is it Ghost Ship? Yeah, Ghost Ship. Ghost Ship tend to be pretty good at releasing when they say they're going to release in the UK. They tend to release at the same time in the US and the UK, which is pretty neat. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Not stroking a thigh accidentally. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, but I wouldn't like scream and say it's amazing, but it appealed to me quite a lot. The Witch and the Beast Volume 4. I picked this one up because it filled a gap, because I picked up Volume 5 second-hand, so now I have 1 to 5. I do still want to try and catch up on the series. I think I'm going to wait till I have a couple more volumes and then read them all back to back. I find the series really pretty. I've read Volume 1 only so far, and it was just so pretty and my kind of aesthetic. Next, we have some volumes that are potentially bought for reasons I shouldn't have bought them for, but we have 2 volumes of XXX Holic 2 and 4, and yes, I picked these up because I didn't have any manga beginning with an X in my collection, and in hindsight I probably should have held off and picked up the omnibuses because the singles are really hard to find, but I prefer singles, and I did actually want to pick up the series. It was on my want to try list, so I picked these both up second hand. Volume 4 is a library copy. It's very worn as well. 2 doesn't actually look too bad at all. I mean, it's a bit yellowed on top, but otherwise 2 is actually pretty good. You can see the colour difference between the tops up here, this being the library copy and this being the normal one. Next we have Yotsuba Volume 1. Goodness, I read this and I loved it. It's so lovely. It is such a fun, silly series, and really, I've heard a lot about it. All I really knew was that it's a good series to read if you're trying to learn Japanese, because it's aimed at like kids to try and be able to read. So I bought a full set of all the ones that were out in Japanese for my partner, because he's been learning Japanese, and I recently bought a whole bunch in English because I am not trying to learn Japanese. I'm missing like 4 volumes and then I think I'm up to date. Unfortunately, that includes volumes 2 and 3. I have really, really bad times with volumes 2 and 3. There's a lot of series where I need those volumes. Our final volumes are one series, and it is volumes 2, 3, and 4 of The Young Master's Revenge, and I picked up all 3 at Travelling Man. I'm hoping volume 1 is in one of those boxes over there. You'll know before I do. I can't quite remember. This is, my understanding, just a 4-volume romance, and I've been like enjoying my shorter series recently, because I think until like 2 years ago, all the series in my collection were really long. The shortest series was probably Full Metal Alchemist, which is 27 volumes in my collection. And so like I've been enjoying recently picking up shorter series and like seeing it to completion, but I'm really picky with endings. I could probably say there's only like 10% of endings I actually enjoy and I think are decent. I'm really, really, really picky, so I'm trying to just hoping if I read so many I'll find more good endings. Well, there we have another manga haul. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't quite know where they all came from. I mean, I did, because I kept saying this came from there, this came there, but I don't remember there being that many. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments what you thought, any series here that you've been looking for, any series that you picked up and enjoyed. Did you agree or disagree with any of my comments? Are you interested in any of the discounts I found? Goodness, Blackwell's is remarkably good at finding discounted manga. You just have to check fairly regularly. If you do so, why not use my affiliate link down below as a thank you for me pointing towards your wonderful deals. I do find that like I'll find a good deal and it'll be up for like 3 hours maybe, and then it'll be gone again. Maybe it's because I keep buying them, I don't know. Like, spoiler alert for a future haul or unboxing, I don't know, but there's a series called Peach Boy Riverside, and I think I picked up like 2, 3, 4, and 5 for £5.50 or £5.99 each when it's an £11.99 series in Forbidden Planet. So I've got them for about half price, and they weren't available all at once. They appeared like sporadically throughout the week, and it's just like I've managed to grab them all, and it's just so happened that I've managed to pick up a clear run of them as well. Don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe, and check out my social medias down below as well. I do hope you have a wonderful day. I'm about to go and film this massive mega manga unboxing. My poor throat. But I'm very excited to see some of the manga in there, because I kind of want to read some of it, because there's new releases. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you haven't watched that one, go watch that one. That one should have gone up before this one, if I've done things correctly. And if you're watching that one, come watch this one. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!